Well, shit, I couldn't just leave the story there. Anyways, so Landon and I were, like I said, talking a lot, and a friendship started to grow, and the two of us were very 420 friendly, and none of the rest of our friends were. So we would go off and like smoke in the garage, or we would smoke, in the backyard, but we always like would do something to smoke, to hang out, and it was fun. We enjoyed doing it. But my ex-husband and his girlfriend were not fans of this. But we were like, I mean, you can all smoke with us, you just don't. So, or you can come with us while we're smoking, but you don't. So, like, I mean, what would you like us to do? Anyway, so it was around Christmas time, and it was exactly around Christmas time, actually. It was like Christmas Day. I'd come back from my mom's house with my ex-husband and my kid, and we had gone there to hang out. Came back, and I guess my friend, who, by the way, was a mean girl, like, in and out, like, just a terrible mean girl. Like, she was always, like, pissed off and angry, and, like, she would give me the cold shoulder. She loved playing games. Like, I don't do that. I don't have time for that. But anyway, so she was giving me the cold shoulder. And because my other friend, Lacey, Landon's girlfriend at the time, was, I don't know, trying to fit in somehow, she also kind of gave me the cold shoulder as the two of them cleaned the kitchen from dinner that they all had together. And I'm like, all right, well, I'm gonna go smoke outside. And they were making comments like, oh, Landon really likes your ass. And like, I don't know, they were just mad that I would go and smoke with him. So I went out there and I was pissed. I was like, they fucking hate me. Like, and they hate that I'm hanging out with you outside. Like, whatever. I don't even care at this point. I was really upset because I was going through my own really crazy situation with my ex-husband at the time, and all these people are treating me like shit. So I was like, whatever. So I told him, like, they don't like you and I hanging out, just so you know. And he was like, oh, well, you're the only person that smokes, and I think you're really cool. Then I was like, wow, thanks, you're awesome, blah, blah, blah. But I didn't really understand what was going on at that point because Landon was very shy towards me. And he would talk, but it was like far and few between. Anyway, we kind of went on like that for a while, and really nothing happened. He and I would play like Words with Friends a little bit here and there, and we did talk, like I said, a little bit, but not very much. And then a couple of days before Landon's birthday, I just opened up to him. Like, I was like a full-on vault about how I was unhappy in my marriage and how I was just unhappy in life, and I felt very stuck because my friend upstairs always needed me to do readings all the fucking time on them. Wanted me to be there. I couldn't focus on my business in the way that I wanted to. It was just like it was too much. And so I would vent to him all the time, and we started to talk to each other about our pasts, about things in my ex, not even the one I was with. Things he would talk to me about him and his ex. He would talk about me with him and Lacey. I'd talk about him and me and Jaden. Like, we were constantly talking to each other. And because my ex-husband, like, he was pretty depressed, but also, like, he suffered from bipolar, like manic bipolar, and he was always sleeping, which was tough for me. I felt alone a lot of the time. Anyway, I was not used to that. I was not used to feeling alone in a relationship. Like, even my ex-girlfriend, we were together for almost 10 years, and I never felt alone in the way that he made me feel. But anyway, Landon and I decided we were going to meet up and talk and see if this was like a chemistry in person as well. Like, obviously we would hang out, but we wanted to hang out alone without anyone around, and we did. And we met up before I started before I started my psychic party, and we just kind of hung out and we kissed. And oh my God, there was such a connection when we kissed. It was unreal. And yes, I was married, and yes, he had a girlfriend, and it was definitely wrong for sure. And I'm sure a lot of people come at me about that, but I needed to see what I was feeling and if it was right? See if it was something that was, I don't know. I just wanted to see. And I knew right then and there that, oh boy, I was starting to have some strong feelings for him, and he was starting to have some strong feelings for me, but we were in these relationships, so we couldn't do anything about it. But we did, I don't know, hang out, wish to be together, I guess. It was hard because I struggled with that. I struggled with me cheating. I struggled with him cheating. We weren't big on cheating. Like, yes, I had been involved with cheating in the past with my ex-husband. Like, he cheated on me very early on in our relationship, and he won't look at it that way because he'll say, oh, you told me it was okay. And I'm like, I mean, I didn't really, but okay. You just did it while I was working. And then came home and said, oops, I didn't know that you weren't going to be okay with it, because I was honest. And I'm like, wow, okay. But it did hurt. It fucked me up, actually. And anyways, he always had to be with women. Like, he would call all his friends his wives. He would be dancing with every single woman except me. Like, he was not nice to me. Like, and I wanted him to give me affection and love, and I asked for it all the time, and he'd be like, I don't know why I can't do it. I just can't do it. And I'd be like, but you can dance with all the other girls. You know what that means? That means you have shame. Like, maybe you don't look at it that way, but you look at it with me because you have shame. Like, you can't bring yourself to dance with me or be with me or do anything with me, but you can dance with all these women. Like, it makes no fucking sense. He was constantly throwing women in my face. He would talk about this woman being hot, this woman being hot. Like, I was open to him being honest with me, but I wasn't expecting him to just blatantly disrespect me. So he wasn't a good guy. He wasn't. Like, not to me anyway. Maybe he's a good guy to other people, but he treated me pretty badly. And so I had always put everything for him. Like, I gave him everything. I did everything. He stole money from me. A lot of money. He would go to the casino and take my debit card and spend every last minute, every last dollar. There was one time where we went to the casino. I think I had like $250 in my purse that I had just completed a party from. Like, I just worked my ass off on. And I told him to leave $50 in the wallet to get gas, but apparently he's a child, so he couldn't do that. So he took my wallet and spent every last dime, and we could barely make it back home. We barely had any gas. It was so awful. I'll never forget that day. And he has no remorse. He'd be like, I'm never going again. And then 6 months later, he'd be like, I want to go back to casino. And I'd be like, are you kidding me, man? Trust me, he put me through a lot. And I know he doesn't condone cheating, but it was my moment. It was my brokenness, Landon's brokenness. We were both like, there was something about him, and there was something about me to him, and we couldn't stop. We were so incredibly drawn to each other. It was unbelievable. We had so much in common too. Anyways, we kissed, and then I couldn't get him out of my mind, and so we started setting things up where we would hang out before I'd go to work. I'd distract my husband at the time. I'd give him some money to be like, look, money, you can take it, because he didn't work. So if he did work, it would be like for a week, and then he'd quit. So he'd be like, okay. So Landon and I would talk to each other on the phone a lot. We started to really like spend a lot of time together. And then on the days where my ex-husband would be like awake, he'd want my attention. I'd be like, oh, well, I'm busy working. Like, I just kind of distanced myself from him a lot. Anyway, this was only going on for like 3 weeks. 3 weeks. And Landon was like, I can't do this anymore. I'm going to tell Lacey. Because Lacey wanted to get a dog for him. Lacey wanted to like get engaged to him. Like it depended on the day and the week, but she wanted all these things to happen and he couldn't do it anymore. So 3 weeks later, he told her that he had feelings for me as they were driving one day. And she thought that I would reject him because I played it very cool. So Lacey said, okay, well, we're supposed to go hang out with Liz and Landon today. No, Liz and Jaden today. So we're going to go hang out with them. And you're going to tell Liz how you feel. I already knew he was coming over and I was scared. I didn't know what the fuck they talked about. I don't know how much he told her. I don't know. I was like, what the fuck? So Lacey and Landon came over. And me, him, and her were outside. And she goes, tell Liz what you told me. And he did. And in that moment, I didn't know what to do. He started to go and walk away. And I knew at that moment he wanted me to tell her how I felt about him. So I did. And I said I also have feelings for him. She wasn't anticipating that. And she left, and then he went after her. And I was super scared that she was going to tell my ex-husband. So I decided in that moment to go and tell him that Landon had feelings for me and that I had feelings for Landon. 3 weeks. That was it. Part 3 coming up.